In this video, we will discuss about the emergence of the basic structure of the Constitution. So what is basic structure of the Constitution? So there is no basic definition of it, and the Supreme Court is yet to define or clarify as to what constitutes the basic structure of the Constitution. But from the various judgments, many elements, components or ingredients of the basic structure of the Constitution can be deciphered, like supremacy of the Constitution, sovereign, democratic and republican nature of Indian polity, secular character of the Constitution, separation of powers between the legislature, the executive and the judiciary, federal character of the Constitution, unity and integrity of the nation, welfare state, judicial review and so on. You may pause the video to have a look at the several other features. The Republic of India is governed in terms of the Constitution of India, which was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on 26th of November 1949 and it came into force on 26th of January 1950. So within a year of the Constitution coming into force, the question came for consideration of the Supreme Court, and it was whether the fundamental rights can be amended by the Parliament under Article 368 or not. So in the first Constitutional Amendment Act of 1951, and it is also famously known as the case of Shankari Prasad. So in this case, the Supreme Court curtailed the right to property, and the Supreme Court ruled out that the power of the Parliament to amend the Constitution under Article 368 also includes the power to amend fundamental rights. So the word law in Article 13 includes only ordinary laws and not the Constitutional Amendment Acts, which is the constituent laws. So as you can see here on the screen, Article 13 goes like this. Laws inconsistent with or in derogation of the fundamental rights. So this statement consists of the word law, and we are talking about this particular word law, which includes only ordinary laws and not the Constitutional Amendment Acts. So therefore, the Parliament can abridge or take away any of the fundamental rights by enacting a Constitutional Amendment Act, and such a law will not be void under Article 13. So this was ruled out by the Supreme Court in the Shankari Prasad case of 1951. But then, in Golaknath case of 1967, the Supreme Court reversed its earlier stand, and in that case, the constitutional validity of the 17th Amendment Act of 1964, which inserted certain state acts in the 9th schedule, was challenged. So in this case, the Supreme Court ruled out that the fundamental rights are given a transcendental and immutable position, and hence the Parliament cannot abridge or take away any of these rights. So what does this mean? So transcendental and immutable position means that fundamental rights are necessary and they cannot be taken away by any of these rights, which is through any constitutional amendment acts. Therefore, a Constitutional Amendment Act is also a law within the meaning of Article 13 and hence would be void for violating any of the fundamental rights. So what do we learn from this case? That Supreme Court basically is trying to say that fundamental rights are supreme and they cannot be snatched away or taken away by any Constitutional Amendment Act. After this, the Parliament reacted to the Supreme Court's judgment in the Golaknath case by enacting the 24th Amendment Act, and this act amended Article 13 and Article 368. So it declared that the Parliament has the power to abridge or take away any of the fundamental rights under Article 368, and such an act will not be a law under the meaning of Article 13. So again, through 24th Amendment Act, the fundamental rights can be taken away. So now comes the most important case, and it is the case Swananda Bharti case of 1973. So in this case, the Supreme Court overruled its judgment in the Golaknath case, and it upheld the validity of the 24th Amendment Act and stated that Parliament is empowered to abridge or take away any of the fundamental rights. But at the same time, it laid down a new doctrine of the basic structure or basic features of the Constitution, and it ruled that the constituent power of the Parliament under Article 368 does not enable it to alter the basic structure of the Constitution. So this means that the Parliament cannot abridge or take away a fundamental right that forms a part of the basic structure of the Constitution. So the doctrine of basic structure of the constitution was reaffirmed and applied by the Supreme Court in the Indira Nehru Gandhi case of 1975. So in this case, the Supreme Court invalidated a provision of the 39th Amendment Act of 1975 which kept the election disputes involving the Prime Minister and the Speaker of Lok Sabha outside the jurisdiction of all the courts. So the court said that this provision was beyond the amending power of Parliament as it affected the basic structure of the Constitution. So we can see that how the evolution of the basic structure of the Constitution is going on, and after this the Parliament reacted to the judicially innovated doctrine of the basic structure by enacting the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. So as per this act, there was amendment done in the Article 368 and it was declared that there is no limitation on the constituent power of Parliament and no amendment can be questioned in any court on any ground including that of the contravention of any of the fundamental rights. But the Supreme Court in the Minerva Mills case, that is of 1980, it invalidated this provision as it excluded judicial review, which is a basic feature of the Constitution, and applying the doctrine of basic structure with respect to Article 368, the court held that since the Constitution has conferred a limited amending power on the Parliament cannot, under the exercise of that limited power, enlarge that very power into an absolute power. So here we have to understand that Parliament has got the power, but it cannot turn that power into absolute power, and a limited amending power is one of the basic feature of the Constitution. Therefore, the limitations on that power cannot be destroyed. So in other words, Parliament cannot under Article 368 expand its amending power so as to acquire for itself the right to repeal or abrogate the Constitution or to destroy its basic features. So basically we have to understand that Parliament has limited power and that power cannot be converted into an unlimited one, and this is what the Supreme Court held as per the Minerva Mills case. And finally, in the Vaman Rao case of 1981, the SC adhered to the doctrine of basic structure and it clarified that it would apply to the constitutional amendments enacted after April 24 of 1973. So on this date, the judgment of the Keshwananda Bharati case came, and this is all about how the evolution of basic structure of the Constitution has been going on. And the Keshwananda Bharati case of 1973 is popularly known as the Fundamental Rights case, and we can study several elements of the basic structure as declared by Supreme Court through this case, like supremacy of the Constitution, separation of powers between the legislature, the executive and the judiciary, then republic and democratic form of government, secular character of the Constitution, federal character of the Constitution, sovereignty and unity of India, freedom and dignity of the individual, mandate to build a welfare state, and parliamentary system. So if we study several other cases of the Supreme Court, then we can add many more such elements to the basic structure of the Constitution. So this is all about this video, and I hope you understood this topic. So thank you so much for watching.